Today we're going to show you how to add sparkle to your knitting with Crystalettes, the world's smallest crystal buttons. It's so simple to add Crystalettes, it's similar to adding beads. I will be adding the buttons using a special tool called a piece of bent wire. And it really is just a piece of bent wire. We'll demo how to make this at the end of the video. Buttons can be added anywhere in your knitting without changing the pattern at all. Simply pick up a stitch that you choose to put the button on with your piece of bent wire and remove the stitch from your needle. It's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to fall off. Then we take both ends of the bent wire and place it through the opening of the button. And then slide the button onto the stitch. Replace the stitch back to your left needle and remove the wire. And knit as normal. It really is just that simple. Let me show you one more time. Pick up your piece of bent wire, pick up a stitch, take the stitch off your needle, take both ends of the bent wire and place it through the loop of the button. Slide the button onto the knitting, replace your stitch back on your left needle, take out the wire, and knit as normal. The buttons are really great because they lay flat against your knitting, and the button is on both legs of the stitch, so it will not distort your stitch the way a bead will. Plus, the loops are so tiny, they're barely visible from the back side. If I pull it apart, you can see them a little bit. So you have no cold beads laying against your skin. It really is wonderful. Let me show you this one more time. Take your piece of bent wire, pick up your stitch, slide the stitch off your needle, place both ends through the loop of the button, and slide the button over your stitch. Now it doesn't matter if your button is backwards. Oh, let me do that. Just put it on backwards. Because once it's on there, I can slide it back where I need it. Then knit as normal. It's so simple to add sparkle to all your knitting. You can find all of the information about Crystalette buttons at crystalettes.com. Okay, now we're going to show you how to make the special tool so you can add Crystalettes to your knitting. You can either use an eye pin that's used for jewelry, or you can use a piece of wire from a spool. Either way, I like to use a 24 gauge wire. That's the best. This is 26, but it will work just fine. And if you use the eye pin, it's a little stiffer, so it works a little better. But if you like a softer tool, which is the World wire, that's fine. You need a pair of pliers. And you need to offset the bend so that it's slightly off center, and then just actually pinch those ends together. Now we need to really make this end really close together. We need to pinch this really tight so there's no gap between the ends. It's a little fiddly, but you'll get it. Just like that. Very nice and tight. Now you can see how this one end is a little longer than the other, and we'll just clip that eye pin, the head of the eye pin, right off. And there you have your special tool. It's that simple. If you're going to use the rolled wire, you want to use about 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. And then bend it in half. And again, you want to make this really nice and tight at the end. Pinch those so there's no gap in between them. That's it. Very simple. Now you have your tools that you can add Crystalettes to all your knitting.